everyone, it's Ruby here, bringing you guys another reaction video, and today we are checking out the Drama Queens podcast episode. This is about Season 7, Episode 6, and it features Jana Kramer, aka the actress who portrayed Alex Dupre, which I'm excited for. And we're going to keep doing these reactions to the podcast because no copyright, and I'm very interested in kind of doing like frequent reactions to the podcast episodes, and we're going to basically be adding on to the conversation. We're not just going to be watching it, we're going to actually be adding on and kind of just discussing about the episode and everything.
Don't know me.
We're all about that high school drama girl, all about them high school queens. We'll take you for a ride in our comic girl, cheering for the right team. Drama queens, smart girl, rock girl, fashion model, tough girl. You can sit with us, girl. Drama queens, drama queens, drama queens, drama queens, drama queens.
Friends, loves, Wilmington crew, we are back with Jana Kramer.
Yay!
We basically did the Thursday therapy wind down version in our Q&A. You all sent in amazing questions for her, and sorry, we just really talked about life, and I'm not sorry because I'm sure you're deeply inspired. But today, we are back to talk about the actual episode, and Jana is here for 706.
I'm going to put this down here.
Dig in. Jana, will you read the synopsis for this girl?
So Haley considers taking matters into her own hands as Nathan's scandal threatens his endorsement deals. Julian gives Alex another chance, and Brooke reconnects with Chase. Millicent questions whether she has what it takes to be a model, while Clay lets Quinn in on a big secret. Director Janice Cook, writer Mike Daniels.
We love it. And this episode is called Deep Ocean Vast Sea, which tracks, honestly, because there is a lot of
ocean
beach time happening here.
Yeah, it was really beautiful. It made me miss Wrightsville.
Right?
Yes.
I was saying on one of our previous episodes,
I kind of like that it's just them because it feels
the
Brooke and Alex
dynamic, and I'm like, I want this. I want a movie. I want us to have a show. Like, I want this buddy comedy.
Do it.
Don't you think?
Don't twist my arm.
Okay, great.
Does this confirm that Alex is coming back for the One Tree Hill sequel? For those of you who don't know, recently it was basically announced, kind of announced, that they're working on a One Tree Hill sequel. Now, it's technically not greenlit, but it's something that Hillary, Sophia, Bevins, and Rachel, what's her actual name? Danielle is working on. And so a lot of people are coming back, and we don't know exactly who is coming back. We just know that the premise is going to be them older, of course. And it's going to be a One Tree Hill sequel series. And we don't know anything. It sounds like it might be Hillary and Sophia and Danielle as executive producers, which means they're funding the project, and they might have some direction involved, and like they might be directing or writing or something. And then it sounds like there might be other people on board for it as well. I'm not entirely sure who. I imagine that they know and understand like what fans really, really want. So I don't think we're gonna be too concerned about like the ships in terms of like Nayli and Layden and stuff like that. Now it's been said that Murray does not want to come back, so who knows if they're able to kind of, have them appear in just like one episode or something to kind of just like say that like Lucas is here. But I think what they're going to do, and I think it will make the most sense, is that if there's someone who really doesn't want to come back, right? They don't want to come back into the role, they're over it, they're done with One Tree Hill, I think that it will make sense to just refer to them off screen. So they'll have like scenes where Lucas is technically there. Maybe he's on the phone. Maybe he's like off like on across the world, but you know Payne is still there in One Tree Hill. So I think it's gonna be like One Tree Hill focus. Like it's gonna be in One Tree Hill, Carolina. But we'll still see or hear about other characters that don't want to come back. I don't think they're gonna recast. It doesn't make sense for them to recast. I think they're just gonna get who wants to come back, and they're going to focus on those characters. And I think that we're gonna see a lot of fun stuff. So I'm excited. I hope they do it well. I'm interested to see what the premise is. I know like a while ago there was talks of doing like a show based on their children. I don't think that's the concept now. I think that might have changed, but who knows? Maybe they'll have someone play. I don't think it's gonna be like the same actors, but probably someone to play like Jamie and the other characters. So it might be young One Tree Hill focused, like the kids and stuff like that. But I think the things that I would really like to see out of a One Tree Hill sequel is number one, Alex back, please. We never really got to see her say goodbye. I mean, we did. It's just it would have been nice if she could have come back for like the finale. I don't know if that was just something that was off the tables or something. I'm interested to see if Jana talks about why she left, or if like I know there was talks about the fact that she was going to go on tour, but I don't know if that was truly the reason or if that was maybe just an excuse, and there were other reasons behind that departure. I'm also interested to see, because I think we are going to get like Clay coming back, maybe Quinn coming back. I don't know if Chantel's pretty busy like with like the boys and everything, but I'm sure they could work it out with Chantel. And I would be really interested to see Millie come back. Who knows if Marvin comes back? I mean, but it would be really nice to see kind of like Alex and Millie kind of hanging out as they're older. I'm not gonna manifest a ship there, but I hope that when they come back to this, they really do, like, because we're in different times now, we can have queer characters. So it would be kind of interesting if, like, Anna were to come back to make, like, an appearance or something. I don't think that they will, because she wasn't that big of a character, but it would be nice if they did. And then Alex, I feel like we should probably see this best friend Kimmy, because I'm very curious about this best friend Kimmy. I think that would be a nice thing to kind of maybe include. Maybe it's a more personal relationship for Alex, or maybe it's like really toxic. Who knows? But that's kind of my initial thoughts on the One Tree Hill sequel that is rumored / I guess confirmed to be coming to Netflix.
Can you tell the fans,
and also the
before we
creators
jump
not
into the
involved,
episode, how did season 7 come about for you? Like
I'm actually curious if it was always planned for her to do music, because for those of you who don't know, Jana Kramer is a country singer. I don't know if she was a singer before the show. I mean, I imagine she did some things, but I think her main debut album came out with the show, so it features a lot of her songs that she had already kind of made, which is like Whiskey, and a couple others. But then there was also the original one that was created for the show, which was like What I Love About Your Love, I think was original, not part of Jana's already made album. And then of course Alex was then sent to go on tour. So I'm wondering how much the music career integrated with the role of Alex, because it didn't seem like they were like bringing Alex on to sing. Maybe they were just focusing on the development first, and then they figured out, oh, Jana sings, let's do that, let's integrate that. I don't know. I think it could have gone probably either way. it's kind of just interesting because you would think that if they're gonna bring her on as a singer, they wouldn't have her be necessarily an actress. They would have her be a singer coming into Red Bedroom Records or something like that. But who knows? I mean, I don't know. I don't know how integrated the music career was with her role, or how planned it was.
Where did the casting call come from? Give us a little bit of background on your audition process. You told us a little bit in our Q&A, but I want to know more.
Okay, so yeah, I auditioned for Chantel's character Quinn, and then when I was, I got the callback for Quinn, and when I was in the callback, the producers and creators said, "Hey, I think you're more fit for this character named Alex. She's just a guest star, recurring role." Which, you know, I was like, oh, man, I really wanted to be a series regular. I was pumped about that.
I mean, she became a series regular. I don't even know how accurate that statement would be, given how much Alex was present in One Tree Hill. I mean, I guess because she wasn't there for the finale, you could technically argue, okay, well, she is a guest star. But, I mean, I feel like Alex was very integral to the last seasons of One Tree Hill because, I mean, I'll be honest, she's the reason why I got into One Tree Hill. For those of you who do not know, this is probably all of you, I got into One Tree Hill not through the actual show, but I watched the clips through YouTube back when you had like episode clips like just drifting on YouTube. Like I would stumble upon them, and then I was like really invested in the show, but it was mainly season 7 to like season 9 where I watched. And then after I did that, I went back in time and I watched the rest of the show. So I actually started the show with Alex's first appearance, which is kind of interesting because really it was Alex who made me watch One Tree Hill, which then stemmed into me becoming a huge fan of One Tree Hill. And then also recommending to one of my friends, you might know her, Julie DG, and her watching the entire show and also loving Alex when that time came. So it's kind of interesting how that ended up working out. Like I didn't start with episode 1. I literally started with season 7, episode 1. That was where I started my One Tree Hill journey. And it was doable because there was that transition between the seasons. Like, it was kind of like the midway between the shows. Like, I feel like there's like the first half where it's like season 1 to like, maybe, I guess technically season 1 to 4 is mainly their like high school journey. Season 5 to like season 6 is kind of the midway because they're like getting older, and then obviously we have Peyton's departure, and then season 7 is really like the second half of the One Tree Hill show, which is more I don't know, I guess it's focused on has a lot more focus on them being older now, them going through the adulthood challenges, and them encountering new people. Now, some people are, upset that Peyton and Lucas left, but I think it was almost needed for One Tree Hill. Now, obviously, if they had stayed, it would have been great, but I think that in a way, it kind of is true to real life, where you're not going to see your best friend your entire life. There's going to be moments where your friends like come and go, and that's just a natural thing of life. It doesn't mean that you like hate them, but people move away, people move out, people grow up, and not everybody wants to stay in a bubble in a small town. And I feel like it makes sense that essentially Peyton and Lucas moved out of the state. I mean, it makes sense because of where they both kind of wanted to go. Peyton's very serious about music. Lucas is very serious about being an author, I guess. I don't know what the heck he's doing. He did like one successful book and failure. So I don't know if he's an author. I mean, I guess he is technically. But then also it's like it's good that I think it's good that we had those new characters because of how long the show was. I think it almost needed those new characters, and Alex is my favorite addition, but also Clay and Quinn kind of being that normality and just kind of being that normal person, like for the most part. Of course, they have their backstories and everything, but I think it's good that Quinn was not too overthought. She was pretty down to earth, and I think a lot of that was Chantel. Not this. I mean, also the writers, but a lot of it I think was how Chantel approached the character. And then we also got to see Taylor, which was nice. And I think also the mom being able to finally meet the James parents, which was also kind of interesting. And then Millie was a good regular. I think some of the older characters, though, they didn't really know what to do with them. I feel like they didn't really know too much to do with skills. Like, I feel like they kind of kept them on for diversity reasons and not so much character reasons, because if you think about it, skills didn't really add too much to the show. I mean, he did, sort of, but it was kind of like, not too needed storyline. It is nice that Bevins ended up. Wait, did he? Did Bevins end up with skills? Yes, I think Bevins did. Yes. Bevin did end up with skills because of that paternity test thing or whatever the heck they did. And then Marvin was kind of unnecessary at the back half. He had a lot of useless storylines. And like the one where it like focuses on his weight. I don't know why. I think it's clear what characters they didn't know what to do with, and the characters that they were really focused on. And I think that's also why it makes sense for the characters to return, for not all of them to come back. Because I think if you do that, you're gonna combine like the new and the old. I feel like it's going to be too much. It's going to be a very bloated cast. So I think it's okay if they only choose like a couple of like the older characters to come back, and a couple of the newish characters, the ones that were from season 7, season 8. And then maybe a couple of new people to kind of freshen up the show. Like, I think that makes sense. Like, it doesn't even have to be new people. It could just be people that we know about, but now they're older, now they are more mature, and now we can have a storyline about them. And again, it doesn't have to be the exact same actors for the child actors. Who knows if a lot of them even act anymore. But they can typecast for those characters, and I think it'll be very interesting to see what they end up doing with the actual One Tree Hill sequel.
At the same time, you know, they don't see me for this character, so let's try. Let's just give it a shot. Even
Alex was, I mean, Jana was perfect for Alex. I do believe that 100%.
One shot, and I got to go back in there. And,
I can't see her as Quinn, but maybe that's just bias.
Went in there, and you know, those rooms I miss going in the room. I'm not great as an auditioner over tape. I love to be able to kind of like chat with
unfortunately a lot of networks and shows and stuff like that can't do that anymore because of the amount of people that audition. It's very easy to just like nope, okay, you come into the studio, nope, like it's so easy to do that
in the room and like be able to
kind of play out.
Like, I remember the feedback, you know, that I was getting from some of the producers. They were like, all right, why don't you do it this way? Which again, I would never have had the chance to do now when we do like these self-tapes. That just seems so ugh to me. But I really just got to like play in the room, and I had fun. And through auditioning for her, it was the next day, I think it was, that I got the call from my agent saying, okay, you know, you got the part, and there's a potential that you'll become a series regular. So just kind of, you know, do your thing. play.
I think Alex was too great not to become a regular. Like, it would have really sucked if she had like 2 episodes and was gone, or if she exited where I think she would have exited, which is the 713, if you know.
Cards right, and
Like,
and you're off to
that
a
would
new
not
thing.
have
It
been a
was just
great
kinda like my
ending
head
to the
was
character.
spinning.
I definitely
and then
believe
it was
that.
Like, all right, I'm gonna start watching episodes, and you know, it was just, I was like, I just need to go balls to the wall with this
Yeah.
character.
Yeah. Well, and my God, we did. I mean,
Yeah.
we were all gagged at the first scene. Like when Alex arrives and comes through the throng of people at the airport, and Millie comes to pick her up and has done all of her research, and you slam the door of the limo and you're like, I could eat the butt off a skunk right now. We, like, spit takes all around. You just are the most fun person to watch.
Yeah.
And the way you
I
were
agree.
able to kind of flip
Oh, Jana.
this idea that someone could perform in public
In a
and then be
non-weird,
like
platonic
completely wild
way.
in private. It's like the most enjoyable thing. But unlike, you know, a Dan Scott or even versions of like Rachel, it's not a character. Like, I'm not looking at Alex as a villain. I love her, and I love.
Oh
that
no,
she
she's
does
not a villain at all. Like, I mean, maybe at first, but she's definitely not a villain.
crazy.
Well, that's
guess-
what's so fun is like now looking back when I was watching the episodes is like the dynamic between you and I. Like, I'm just like, I really wasn't meaning to hurt you. I was like, oh my God, no, like we just have a working relationship. It's like she just really doesn't think anything she does is wrong. And that's what was like so funny about it too, you know, because
But that's the other side of it. Like, well, okay, to be fair, we don't really know how much of it was an act and how much of it was really Alex, because we know we were already set up in the very beginning of the appearance that Alex does kind of put on a front. She is kind of fake-ish. Like, it's unclear if she's really playing it dumb or if she knows what she's doing, but she's used to doing it, you know? It's kind of like when you get in a habit of a certain persona, like, it's not necessarily you, but you get in the habit of it, of believing that it's you, and then essentially it comes integrated with your character, with yourself, with your personality. Like, I feel like a good example is, like, I'm very much an introvert, but I've had practice kind of pretending to be an extrovert. Like, I worked on how I react externally so that you can actually know what I'm reacting like and see it. Like, it's not that I fake my reactions. It's more so that I understand that you cannot read my mind, so I have to put in the work to make sure that you get the idea, even if I'm not saying a word. Like, I need to show you how I'm feeling, because oftentimes as an introvert I don't show external emotion, but I need to, because otherwise it looks like I'm staring at a blank wall and not doing anything, and it doesn't feel like it's an actual reaction. And I also know that sometimes I have my thoughts internal, and obviously you can't read my mind, but I'm thinking it. But I realize, like, you don't know that I'm thinking it, and so you need to know what I'm thinking. So that's the other thing that I kind of worked on, is speaking my thoughts out loud. Now, I kind of had this trained earlier, because sometimes what I would do as, like, a kid is that I would, like, talk out loud while playing games. Kind of the lean and the talking, but so that was kind of like natural. But understanding that, oh, I actually have to say my thoughts out loud because you cannot read my mind. Like, I don't know where this topic went, but to bring it kind of back is like, yeah, I mean, we don't really know how much Alex was Alex and how much she was doing the acting bit. Like, it kind of made you question a lot of times, like, is she having an act or is she being real? Like, I feel like if you go from the perspective that Alex is being real, is being genuine, then there's not really anything that Alex is really doing wrong. I mean, aside from like stripping naked. But also, you have to understand that she's probably used to that because she probably has like producers and directors who have asked her to strip so that they can see her body, because that's what they do. Like, as unfortunate as it is, a lot of actresses and actors are taken advantage because of their good looks, because they're pretty, because they're good looking. And a lot of directors use that power to kind of persuade them to show more skin, to do more things. And so it becomes kind of this game of, is this the industry expectation or your expectation? And oftentimes it gets confusing because everybody does it. It's just that it's not really like an official thing. So it's very valid for Alex to be like, you know what? All these actors, I mean, all these directors loved it when I stripped for them, and it always got me the part. It always got them on my side. So let me do this with this guy because he probably thinks the same way. Now, Alex doesn't know that Julian is different and that he doesn't think that way, and that he's very committed, very loyal to Brooke Davis. But there's also kind of part of her that probably does love Julian, who is kind of wondering what if this relationship can work out. Like, I mean, I guess people see Alex as the villain because she is in the way of Julian. But really, like, this could kind of happen to anyone. Like, it's not that Alex is like some like psychopath or serial killer or something. Like, she's generally just being herself, it seems. And she just doesn't really know how to kind of navigate that human interaction, because I think she just isn't used to people who don't want to take advantage of her. And that really says kind of a lot. I mean, if you think about it, the stories that where she's talking about, like, my best friend Kimmy, none of it is healthy. Not one of the things that Alex says that Kimmy, my best friend Kimmy, does is a good thing, is a positive influence. So it sounds like Alex is just surrounded by people who are toxic to her, people who take advantage of her, and people who show her things that are normal that are not normal at all. And she just has this habit and has this thought, this, oh, you know, people like it when I get naked. People like it when I do this. So why not do this? So it kind of becomes a circle in of itself, because it's like, well, they love it when I do this, but this guy doesn't like it. So what the heck do I even do? But I mean, yeah.
Like, she just sees nothing that she's doing is wrong.
Yeah.
Like, she's just like genuinely like, oh no, he doesn't want me. Like, I got so much naked and like he wants nothing to do with me. Like, he loves you, you know?
Yeah,
But
like a guy has never done that before.
like normally like they would. So I'm just like, wow, she's just really in her own world.
It's such a boldness.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, would I want to behave in that manner? No. Do I respect the boldness of someone who can with no shame? Like, yeah. Actually, yeah. I'm wildly impressed by that level of self-confidence.
Yeah. And that's where I was like, I remember talking to the creator. I was like, all right, can I just give her like I have to find the heart with her. And so that's, you know, later.
Yeah, that is kind of one, because I mean, his perspective, the creator's perspective, is that naked girl strips, hot girl strips naked. So I mean, I don't think the intent was good in terms of that, because that just reinforces the toxic environment that actors and actresses are often put in from their directors and producers, like he did. But I think it's good that Jana was able to kind of say, hey, yeah, we can do this, but let's do it this way, not that way.
Later episodes, that's when I really connected with her. I was like, you know, when she was said that one scene, like, I hate myself when I'm alone. And I always go back to that because that was the moment where her and I like connected, and I like
Yeah.
really became a thread through her because
Yeah.
that's how I've always felt.
I feel like 713 definitely impacted how Alex would be perceived as a character. Because if, let's say, she's a guest character, she comes on for like 701 to like 705. We don't, or 706 even. And we don't really get to 713. We don't really get to that moment where Alex basically switches because of what happened. If we don't get to that moment, I feel like everybody would hate Alex because they think, oh, she's just, she's just getting in the way of Julian and Brooke, and why does she do this? Why does she keep doing this? Why does she keep like stripping, trying to get Julian to like have sex with her? Like, they just don't get it. And also then she leaves, and that's the last impression that they have of her, is that she's in the way of Brooke and Julian. It's the same thing like with Lindsay. Like, Lindsay as a character is a good character, but she's known as the person who is between Lucas and Peyton. And that's why I feel like people kind of hate on Lindsay. Like, I feel like Lindsay is a good character put in a bad situation, like in the wrong place at the wrong time. It's the same thing with anyone who is between Nathan and Haley. Like Chris Keller. I mean, Chris Keller is annoying. I don't think I can say the same thing about Chris Keller. I mean, other than the fact that he is funny. I can't really excuse Chris Keller at all. But like it's kind of that thing though. Like people don't really hate the character. It's more the circumstance they're put in and the who they're getting in the way of. Like, Alex as a character, if she had wanted nothing to do with Julian, nothing to do with any of the One Tree Hill boys, maybe had wanted something to do with Clay, I feel like most people wouldn't have cared about what Alex was doing. They would be like, oh yeah, she just does this. And like nobody would care, but it's because it's Julian and Brooke that people really care about Alex's character.
So it was like and then I was like, okay, now I can embody a little bit more of my personality into her.
Yeah, that's
while
good.
still like having her be the core.
I love that. That was very much the journey I had with Brooke. Like, I couldn't relate to her at all. And then
I got her.
That I really was able to see how her particularities and mine could merge. It was in season 4 when we did that scene that people always put up like at the conventions with the projection of like not enough, not pretty enough, not smart enough. Like, that phrase for Alex was true for you, and that feeling of not enoughness had always been so true for me.
Yeah.
Like, why does nothing ever seem to matter? You're just gonna say this or do this or run with that, or like, what about the person in here? And I like that we got to sort of parallel path these women in that way. That's very cool to me.
Same.
Do you remember your first day on set, or is it a blur?
I do remember it. It wasn't with you. I remember the first day was the
the Pride and Prejudice thing,
where they cut my hair and the whole thing. Like that was my first day, and that was so fun. I always wanted to be in a period piece. So
Oh my god, me too, and I've never gotten to do it.
Oh, please. Can we have directors, producers, creators, whatever? Can you make a period piece and then just cast Jana and Sophia in it? I'm sure they would love to.
Like, I want to be Pride and Prejudice, Mr. Darcy, like the whole thing. Like, it's my dream. And so that was like, oh.
I mean, with all like the romances that she's done, like the Hallmark movies that she's done, you would think that one of them would be like that.
Like, I kind of got to do it for like 2 seconds on One Tree Hill. So that was my first day. And then I remember the second day was the airport stuff. And then again, like, I think it was hard coming into a show where it had been filmed so many seasons. I feel like, like, obviously I was most nervous to do my scenes because they were all with you and like, being who you were. And it was just, but you were of the cast, just very lovely and welcoming. And that does not, that does not go overlooked, especially going on to shows after that, realizing, not many do that. So that was
Oh my
appreciated.
gosh. You sweet angel. I mean, I just adored you immediately. Like, and I love that. I mean, I think we talked about this in the last episode. Like, when you really click with people, your friendship becomes timeless. And I've always really felt that about you. And like, I don't know, the journey that we got to go on as characters was so fun, but it paled in comparison to like our days driving on the beach in your drop top Jeep.
We drove to Raleigh to go get the Jeep. You, me, and Austin.
And like, do you remember when the new sound system got installed in the bar that we lived over? And like,
Oh my God.
one night it was like 2 a.m. You guys, for everyone at home, Jana and I lived in this apartment together over a bar, and they
Austin.
they put new speakers in, and literally one night it was like, I woke up thinking it was an earthquake because I grew up in California. Like, frames were vibrating off the walls, like. It was so crazy. And we were just like, this is probably not like what people think of like quote unquote TV stars, but we had this insanely cheap apartment and we loved it. And then everything went to shit.
Yeah, that was wild. But also, you know, I actually wrote about this in my book too, because being on that show, I mean, I didn't come from money. I came from a single mom and, you know, always negative in the bank account. And anytime I'd like, you know, I'd be waitressing in Los Angeles and then I would book something, have to obviously quit my job, but it was like, then I go back to negative in the account again. And so when I got One Tree Hill, I talked about this in the next chapter where it was like, it was we went shopping to that really cute store we'd always go to. I can't remember the street.
Oliver.
Was it Oliver? Okay. And I saw this, it was like this ring and it was like this bird with like a cage over it. And you're like, you should get it. Like, it's so great. And I just started getting, you know, decent checks, you know, that I've never seen in my lifetime. And so I was just like, oh, but Sophia, it's $300. And she's like, girl, you're a series regular now. Like, you know, you need to get it. And I was just like, okay. But I remember just being so sick about $300 ring that I got myself. But like, you definitely opened me up to like, oh, you know, you were, you know, you kind of helped me baby step into things and like that world. And it was just, you know, but also you were so generous too with everything. And, you know, my favorite part was because I still was, I'm always a poor girl at heart. Like even today, I'm just like, I never know when it's going to not have any. So
I think it's always better to spend less than what you have. Like, you shouldn't be if you're a millionaire, you shouldn't be looking to spend like $1 million. You should be looking to spend more, like maybe 1,000 at best a year. That way you're always growing in wealth and you still have money left over and you're not in risk of becoming in debt.
But we would be in your room and I would be like, what don't you want to wear again so I can take it? You would just give me your like your scraps.
I remember that day when you were looking at that and thinking like, I don't know, I'm a very sentimental ceremonial person. And if there's something to celebrate, like, you know, don't be insane, obviously, and put yourself at risk, but I think you deserve to celebrate it. And I just remember being like, babe, like, you are a fucking series regular now. Like, get yourself something that you will, it doesn't matter if in 10 years you don't want to wear it anymore. Like, you'll keep it forever and you'll remember that. And I think there's an energy in it. Like, when people ask me why I have a hard time getting rid of mementos and things, because for me, it's like I want to hold on to that good end.
Yeah, it's kind of similar to me in a way. Like, I don't like getting rid of things, like even books that I've finished or anything, because I'm always like, what if I just want to like free read it and it becomes like impossible to find again? Like, I don't know.
Energy. I want to hold on to that good memory.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I
hold on
do
to my
remember
old
that day, and
IDs.
I remember just being so excited for you because it's like you deserve to be proud of yourself.
Yeah.
That's a therapy thing we always talk about.
Right? Right?
Oh my God. A baby stepper.
I know. My therapist will always be like, the word, no one deserves. Deserve is not. And I'm like, listen, I've reframed deserve and I like it. We deserve this. Like, I remember talking to the girls about that when we started this podcast. It was like, we deserve to figure out why we made a magic thing. Like, and we deserve to own it. We made it.
Right.
Like, our boss was obviously part of it, but like, he doesn't own this. We own this. We made this, goddammit.
Well, and again, you get to change the script. So
yeah, it feels good.
Yeah.
Well, and what a cool reference for the episode, because that's essentially what Nathan and Haley are trying to do this whole time.
Yeah.
And it's not lost on me that everyone's figuring out
What they're trying to do.
what stories to share and who they're going to be, and if they can really pass a test. Like Alex finding more of herself and being respected for her ideas and her intellect with Julian. Nathan having to look at Haley and say, if you know me, if you actually have faith in me, if you know the man I am, you know I didn't do this.
That chilled me, by the way. Given like, because back then when I read that script, it meant nothing to me. I didn't feel anything. But like, given everything that I've gone through with trust stuff, I'm like, that scene was so powerful to me now that I was just like, I was in it, because I'm like, yeah, if this is like, if Alan said that to me, I'd be like, no, I trust you wholeheartedly. I couldn't have trusted maybe someone in my past, but like for him to say that, it's like, and what a disappointment for him that he has to. It's like I feel
like if the trust in relationship is gone, it's not really a relationship anymore, and it's just waiting to end.
For Joy's character, because obviously it's like,
because if it's not that, then it's going to be something else
happening, and like this girl is saying that this is her son and his son or whatever. So like that's a slap in the face, and it's hard not to trust the women, right? Or what she's saying. But also like for Nathan, I'm like, I really felt for him too, because it's like, what a slap in the face to not be trusted by your wife. Like, who do you think I am? And who do you like? I'm not my father. I'm not gonna, like, I wouldn't abandon a child. So not only do you think I've abandoned you, but I've abandoned a child. And I was like,
it's heavy.
Yeah.
Like what it was. I thought that certainly, I think, is my honorable mention for the whole episode.
But then there's also
such a powerful scene.
Idea,
and I gotta
like,
be honest, like I wrote
why
down.
would she lie?
Where is it?
Like, it's gonna come out.
Though, I just have to say the only thing, because now, like in therapy, because I've been through this, I just wish Nathan would have said like something to the effect of like, but and I am sorry that this is affecting you and this is hurting you and that this has come up and what's brought up for you. Like he never actually, he never had empathy in my eyes for her. And I'm saying this as a 40-year-old who's gone through that, but like, but there should be empathy that this is even something that has come up.
That
like
you have
I didn't
to worry
really
about.
see any like remorse on that side for her feelings.
I think it's because
what drove me crazy,
Nathan probably didn't realize
how
that
dare he walks away in all caps in my notes. And she says her number's all over your cell phone bill.
Yeah.
I was like, excuse me, you're going to walk away? You're caught? But what I thought was interesting, because I was like, this feels really gaslighty. He's saying he only lied about his wife trusting him. Like, no, he's lied about something.
Right.
And what would have been, I
like
think,
you did call
better.
Her.
Well, what would have been so much better would have been like, did you really look at it? Imagine if he'd walked into the office and been like, these are all incoming calls, Haley.
Yeah.
And then you could have been like, oh, now I get it. Instead, he was like, I can't believe you don't trust me. And it's like, well, clearly this is why.
Well, show me that I can.
Yeah.
To your point, I thought they really redeemed it. And I did love that it spoke to this larger thing, right? Of like, well, you will believe what is often reported.
Dear
you start
God,
to
what
believe
is
what's
that?
in the world around you. We see it now with social media and these algorithms and like, you know, he's like,
woodpecker.
this is being said about me and it isn't
Wow,
true. And I
damn
thought you
animal.
would know. But I hated, I noted here, I was like, okay, it
annoying.
comes back around and I really like where they end up. But it's so clear to me that like
Can
a
you stop?
dishonest man had his hand on that scene.
Right.
Because
Oh my God.
I actually think a guy like Nathan would have been like, come look at it with me and
Yeah, one
realize
second.
these
I
are
just want
incoming.
to test something. Oh, you definitely can hear that. Damn woodpecker.
calls. Do you know how many people call me?
Stupid
Do you know how often this happens to me? And you could
Goddamn,
go,
shut up.
There's more to the story. Okay.
Right. Like, and he did say, like, I'm a professional athlete. People get my number. But that's still a very gaslighting comment as opposed to, like, leaning in to have the comment.
Yeah. To
So-
be like, I get what it looks like, but it really isn't like that. And I'm sorry that you have to even think that that could have been possible. Yeah. I mean, I could see that. You know, it's not that Haley doesn't have a reason to be upset. Of course she does. Like, even if it's not true, something happened to make it seem like it's true. Like, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Well, and I think it speaks to that larger issue, right, of what we were talking about in the other episode. Like, when the pile-on happens, sometimes you just snap. And like,
Can you stop?
Haley hit this woman. She snapped. She's clearly having a hard time. She's putting on a brave face. But how is this not supposed to rattle her?
Dear God.
And
Right.
I wish
It's
that the
fucking
front
weird.
half of the scene had felt more like the second half. When
Agreed.
he was
Or whatever
really
it
clear
is. I
about
don't even know if it's a
if you
woodpecker.
don't
It's
trust me,
something.
this is a bigger issue. I was like, ooh, now we're getting into the good stuff, and
Right.
this is what I want more of.
And I love you, and I'm sorry that
Is it
this has come up
raining?
for you.
What
This
is
is
that? I
like
don't know.
making
I
you
don't
feel
Yeah.
this way.
think so.
That's all I want. Just lean in. I just want people
Yeah.
to lean in.
Understand that for her, this is really, really difficult.
Right.
Mm.
Ugh. And then you have the flip side of this amazing comedy with you. When Millie wakes up in your bed and you're working and you've texted Melvin.
Love. That was one of my favorite scenes because I'm like, Melvin. Like I just like rock out with your
Rock out with your
Like,
and the way Lisa almost says it and gasps. You two are so funny together. You're both such amazing comedians. Like I said, I want more of it.
Listen, girl, you have way more pull than I ever have pull. So anytime you want to
It sounds like Alex might be coming back for a One Tree Hill sequel.
Brooke and Alex show, and like
Honestly, I'm
let's
so
do it.
down. It's actually been so interesting because this is the first year of my life that I haven't been contracted to a show. And
Oh,
so
wow.
like I've been able to travel a little more. I've been able to do more of this, like more podcasting and this sort of work. I've I went and I made a movie I love. I'm about to make another movie. But when you were talking before about missing that on-set camaraderie, I'm like, yeah, I miss that.
Yeah.
Like I talked to
I
my
think this
girlfriend
is why
Sky
they're
that I
doing the
do
One
Good
Tree Hill
Sam with
sequel, really.
about the same thing.
Which, by the way, was a great show and it
was
deserves
really fun.
more airtime.
Well, it was given a terrible time slot.
I think there's a way to
Everything
do
about
it
when it was
that
going on was terrible.
will
But
make it good.
I got my friendship with her out of the deal, and she met her now husband out of it. Like we just had the most wonderful
Love.
set. But like because we had signed on to that show in early 2020, and then it was a 3-year process to even get through the first season with the pandemic. Like it was this long journey, and yeah, I don't know. I this is my first year not on a TV set, and I miss it too. So I'm ready for the Brooke and Alex and Millie show.
Again, I'm here. Let's do it. Like we know the right peeps.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Can I ask if you noticed something about this episode, which I am unwell about?
Which piece?
Okay, the contrast of, and like the wonder of watching the Clay and Quinn relationship start. And Hillary pointed out the smartest thing when we were bringing Rob in, that like Rob and Hillary are the same. And like Clay was essentially brought in to be Peyton-ish.
Yeah.
And you get Quinn coming in. She's the like broody,
Lucas.
beautiful artist like Lucas.
Oh.
And so much of their energy is so great. And then suddenly in this episode, Chantel is like out on the beach with her camera. She looks like a hot mermaid.
Oh,
Like
she's
her hair is
stunning.
kind of red.
Yeah.
She's like in full Ariel mode in her bathing
Can we talk
suit,
about the
like,
behind the scenes
appropriate
kiss?
for the beach.
Right.
Can we
And
talk about that,
Clay is walking
Jenna?
on the beach in a suit,
Can we talk
Sam's
about-
jacket, and suede loafers. And they have
You
multiple
kissing
scenes
Chantel,
together. And she's in a
aka
bathing
Quinn.
suit, and he
Can we talk about
keeps
that?
his loafers on in the sand, even when they're sitting down.
I did not notice that. That's an eye that's a good director eye right there. Did not notice that.
I'm not okay. I was like, why is he wearing this outfit? Why is he wearing his shoes? Why does he never take his shoes off?
I feel like that's something that I now, like when I was shooting the last movie with Austin, I'm like, I would never wear this to therapy. I'm not wearing this short little sundress to therapy. Like we have to change the wardrobe for this. So there's many times now that
Yeah.
like I've taken, because it's like, but like, back in
yeah.
the day, I would have never, I would
Had
have never thought
control. Yeah.
Like, y'all, I was just like, what is going on? And they're having their chemistry's building. and
But
they're
he's
having these
still wearing
sweet
his shoes.
conversations, and he's just got his suede loafers on in the sand.
But that's such a Clay thing to do, though. I feel like it works with Clay.
I'm not good.
I think
That's
it works with
amazing.
Clay, though.
But I really enjoy their dynamic. And I liked finally getting to see, because we've seen in the episodes building up to this, you see the reveal that they're not actually sleeping together, that they're just leaning on each other.
Mhm.
You know Clay has something building, and now, the blonde, no spoilers, has showed up, and there's something going on here. We know about Quinn and David, obviously. We don't know about Clay and this woman yet, but we know he's got a pain point. And you've seen them build this friendship
Yeah.
and talk about the fact that they're not
Ghost.
screwing around.
Right.
And then when Quinn goes at Nathan and calls him on it in this
So
episode, I
good.
was like, yes, girl. He has absolutely no right to judge you. I love
Oh,
this.
yes.
Yes, 1,000. And I love how Nathan then
did
came
love
and
that.
apologized and said what he said to Quinn. But also, like, I love watching Rob and Chantel's scenes together, because I also, they were such good friends off camera too. And so it was just like how their storyline progresses is I always
definitely think if anybody had
I
a
don't know,
girl
just, like,
hookup,
there's,
it
like,
was
there's
Alex.
truth into it. And
Whether it
it's-
was
I
with
think
Millie
it's
or
just a
Quinn
beautiful
or
relationship
someone
on and off
else.
screen.
Yeah.
It doesn't
it's
felt
nice
like something Alex
all
would
these
do,
years
slash did do.
past doing it to have the ability to watch it and go, oh, I can see the seeds of that. Like,
Mhm.
Yeah.
I can see Yumi and Lisa having so much fun together because we did.
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
can see the easy friendship budding between Rob and Chantel because
Yeah.
it did.
Mhm.
And it's
It
special
makes
when
it
those
shows
things
you that they
translate,
had a
'cause
really
they
good
add
casting
just like
director
a layer of something
and was able to
that's bigger
see
than
that
what's on the
chemistry
page.
in that.
Yeah, and they're both, great actors too. But there's what I like about both of them
The
is there's that
dynamic.
mystery, like you kind of said.
Because there's sometimes where people are casted and they do
that's
not
what's intriguing to go. Oh, wait, well, who's
go
the blonde?
together,
And so I'm like,
and
all right,
they're
so
trying to
you know,
make
that
them go
kind of
together,
thing
but
is
they
like
just
that
don't
I know
go
now
together.
because it's a refreshment of memory, obviously.
Which
but like
happens a
there's-
lot.
Both of them bring a kind of a
It's
beautiful
hard to
mystery
pair
thread
strangers
through
with
the-
each
through
other
the story.
and pretend that they
Yeah.
are long loved
Yeah.
ones or
And
something.
I just enjoy all of the scenes. I know we talked about it earlier, but
Mm-hmm.
I really want to focus on it for a bit. You and Austin are so good together. And even you freaking out in the house, walking around behind him when he's reading the script. And
Yeah.
you're like, it's supposed to be
I
funny.
need to
You're
see
not
that
laughing." And he never looks up and goes, maybe I'm
Austin
laughing on
and
the
Jana
inside.
movie that's coming out.
I just love
I need to
love the
investigate more
dynamic.
about that
love the
because I want to actually
relationship.
see
It's a
that.
date.
And maybe
It's work.
I'll
It's a date. It's a
talk
working
about
date.
it. I
Like,
don't know.
Date-ish. Date-ish.
yeah.
Date-ish.
So good.
Yeah. But also, I think that was the friendship too. Like we were all roommates, and it was
Yeah.
roomies, and like that's why I think like Austin and I worked so well together this past spring summer. It was because it's like there's that friendship, that connection there. That's just like, and even so, like even on set when I was with them a couple months ago, I'm like, was that okay? Like I don't know, like it's just like be able to like play off of each other. It's just it was fun. It was like he's one of my
Is it out?
all-time favorite scene partners. So and
I love
through
that.
that like Alex Julian,
I think it's out.
it's like he let me have some fun, and
Maybe
also
I can
he helped
watch it.
me along the way too in a lot of scenes, moving forward in the
Yeah,
episodes.
it's out.
Yeah. Oh, I love
I need to
that
watch
so
that
much.
then.
Is it,
I need to find it.
do you have
I'm sure I could find
sense
it.
memory when you watch certain scenes? Like sometimes
Gaslit?
when we pan across the river, I'm like,
Lifetime
oh my God, I
movie.
can
Gaslit
smell
by my
Burlington when
husband.
I watch this.
The Morgan
Or,
Metzer
I remember
story.
being in that set because we broke in the middle of that scene, and I remember
Watch
getting in so
movie.
much trouble because we couldn't stop laughing. Like,
Oh yeah,
are
I
there
can
things
watch
watching
that.
those episodes
Yeah.
that come up for you like that?
Yeah, I'll watch
Yeah,
that and maybe I'll do a
where
video
we
on it.
shot my hotel room scenes was in the was in
Love
the, what's
that.
that called? The oh my gosh, why am I blanking?
It was on one
Love
of the
Jana.
stages, right?
It was on on the stage.
yeah, they built it.
I'll watch
So they
anything
built it
Jana's
on
in.
the stage, and our trailers just were outside there, and it just brought
And
back
Sophia.
all the memories of. I mean, from catering to the offices were right there, and then but to us like hanging out, in our chairs outside, just outside that door was just the open stage. Like there wasn't much else there,
Mm-hmm.
and so just the times that were had when they yelled "cut," check the gate at the time. So like those memories were awesome, and just yeah, I mean there was so many times too where we would just have to cut because we're laughing, and like that's just the
That
joy
shows
of
you have good
the fun had on set was,
good relations.
was that. But I think my favorite memories was working on my stage, the hotel.
Yeah. It's interesting too to begin to see the dynamic shift. The buddy comedy of Alex and Millie is so fun.
She's great. I didn't
my God.
like I knew Lisa was a great actress, obviously, but like like
I
kinda
need
like you
Jana
had
to
said,
be in a movie with
I was
Lisa
listening
again.
to a previous episode, and
Or
you were
something.
saying, you know, it's, or no, maybe it was Rob. Like, you know, you like acting.
They
Like, you
gotta
don't
bring
get to,
Alex
like,
back. I
watch, or
hope they
maybe
bring
it,
back
it was on
Lily.
your
I
voice
imagine
note,
they
but, like,
would.
you don't get to like
Whether
actually
she's
watch.
with
And so now
or
watching it,
not
I'm like,
with.
Lisa is so like she had
Marvin.
me cracking up. Like I'm like, she's so funny.
She's incredible. Like,
Yeah.
I would have loved to see Lisa on SNL.
1,000.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
is she still, like, what is she doing still? Like, I've lost touch with her. So I'm like, is she still acting? Like,
We all keep trying to find her.
really?
I don't. Yeah. I don't know. I tried to hunt down Brendan.
Like, she's not at conventions. Like, I don't know where she's at.
None of us do.
Send a
And
signal,
We
girl.
miss her, girl. Smoke
Send a-
signals. We're
send
coming
a-
for you. Oh my god! Could you imagine you and me like Tweedledum and Tweedledee at the front door, like, "Hey, girl, we found you."
Finding Lisa, there's our show.
Oh
Like,
my god! Honestly, I'm so ready for it. But like,
Wait, what is
there's
she?
you and me like Tweedledum and Tweedledee at the front door, like, "Hey, girl, we found you."
Finding Lisa, there's our show. Like,
Oh, Finding
I'm
Lisa.
so ready for it. But like, there's something so precious. You guys are so funny and so sweet.
I don't know where she is
and
either.
because, as you said,
I know where a
Alex
lot of
doesn't-
One Tree Hill actors are, not
there's
her.
not like a mean bone in her body. She thinks everything she's doing and saying is okay.
yeah.
The cringe I felt, I mean, especially the time period, my God. Calling Lisa Goldstein plus size is like,
Oh,
Oh,
I know.
I'm
yeah.
like, no wonder we all had such insane like body confidence
yeah.
issues. Also, like,
But that was
more
also the
power to
reality
them.
of
Is
it
anyone
too,
on Earth
because like if you would go into like I don't know some snooty designer store, and you were anything like above like 90 pounds, like they would not have something for you to wear, and they would even like look at you and judge you. A lot of stores do that actually. Well, not a lot, but a lot of stores would do that. Not now anymore, most of them, anyways. But yeah, that was a common occurrence. Even if you were like a twig, they would still like be judging you and everything. So it is real. Now, yeah, I mean it is a reality.
hotter than Ashley Graham? No. But
Right.
the time was so hard on women
Yeah,
and so toxic for us.
yeah.
And yet, this toxicity.
But I think that's what made Zero is not a size work, because Lisa isn't really plus size, but she still doesn't fit into those clothes. Like she's just like an average woman. I think that's what makes it work, because Lisa is more like an average woman's body type. I feel like that's why Zero is not a size works so well. So because it's not someone who is like obviously plus size, like 3x to 4x, like that kind of thing. But she's just like probably like an extra large, maybe a 1x at best, like not even. Like if you look at Lisa, she's not like that. But maybe it just speaks to how women's clothes are made in general, which is not well. Like, I don't know. So, it's so weird.
was coming through Alex as this like incredibly sweet person who you didn't say it in a mean way. You didn't mean it in a mean way, but you start to see how, depending on the way someone feels, someone else's words affect them.
Yeah.
And the beginning
And
of
that's
this
why
storyline,
the
like,
beginning of the drugs.
I don't know, it just
It's
really,
hard. It's a hard one to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we know how it ends up with her and how like the road that she takes, and that
Yeah.
self-doubt. Like she didn't think that she had any body issues until I said something different to her. So then now she's believing,
Yeah.
that's that.
It also shows you the power of words. Like, even if you don't even know the person, like, your words can still have meaning to a complete stranger, and you don't know how that would affect them. Like a service worker commenting on someone's, like, the way something, like, looks, or, just even saying, like, oh, I can recommend you a really good, like, blah, blah, blah. It's like, why would you bring that up if that wasn't an issue for me? Like, it just, even if it's the most genuine thing, it feels like it is against you. And you don't know if that person has already thought those thoughts, and you're just now coming in, reaffirming it, and been like, yeah, bitch, you need to go on light. Like, most people know what their problem is, and they're probably already working on it. You just don't know because you don't know them. Like, you don't know where they started. You don't know where they are ending. And you don't know what they've, like, discussed with their doctor, discussed with like, you don't know. You're just assuming, you're judging, you're putting your standards on this random stranger or this person. Now, it's not that Alex said anything wrong necessarily. It's more so that Alex doesn't see how her words are harmful to Millie, because she doesn't understand the look. I mean, I guess the judgment on body types, right? Alex has never had to deal with that in her life, probably. The way that Alex is built, at least in the show. So it's like, yeah, of course Alex doesn't know that sometimes, like, saying a plus size is a little bit sensitive to people, because, you know, it is already implicating something else when it shouldn't. You know, that's not how sizes should necessarily work, really. Like, it should just be part of the normal kind of sizes, but we're kind of stuck in the system, like, instead of doing numbers, we have to do letters, and those letters can have a lot of meaning. Even though a lot of brands are different numbers for different sizes, so it's not even consistent. Like, you could be an XL in one brand, and an L in one brand, and a 1X in another brand. Like, it's not even consistent with what it's supposed to be.
It becomes her truth when it's not her truth. It's the world telling her something as opposed to herself, and that's sad.
It's so sad.
And that's where I'm always like, even like as a parent too, I'm like, the world is going to tell you so many mysteries.
There's a thing that people are supposed to learn where you should only comment on something that people can change in like 30 seconds or like a minute. Like, oh, your hair, like, you might want to, like, you know, something that, or like your teeth. Like, not something that is so impactful that it will have long-lasting ramifications and might not even be able to be fixed. Like, you don't know if that person might have a disease, might have something that they're going through, might have, like, various symptoms. Maybe they've already made progress, you know? Like, you don't know where they started. You don't know what's been going on. You don't know them, so why comment about it? Like, I always feel like if you're someone who's going to comment about that, you're not someone who is a nice person. Like, I understand, like, the kind of intent behind something, maybe. Like, you think that you're encouraging them, or you're, I don't know. But sometimes it's better to just not talk about it. Like, if someone has repeatedly said, like, yeah, please don't talk about it. I don't want to hear it. Like, I don't want to know. Like, if someone is consistently saying, I don't like talking about it. You know, I'm working on myself. I don't like talking about it. Just don't talk about it. It's that easy. I feel like so many people, like, miss that. Like, they don't think, oh, you know, this person finds this kind of sensitive. Maybe I shouldn't, like, just bring it up. Like, even if you're thinking it, you're thinking that you're doing them good. Like, you're not doing them good. If anything, you're doing them more harm, because they might be, like, working on something, and they might be thinking, you know, they're making progress, but really they're not. And, you know, who knows? Like, if you don't know, just shut up.
Truth, which is why I'm constantly like, you are good enough, you are brave, you are strong, you're beautiful.
Yeah.
It's like, because everyone else is going to tell you everything that's not true. So like, let me be the one to tell. So I'm like, oh, that like hurt watching as like an adult.
No, it hurt me too. And it's like, it's what you were saying earlier that Alan always says, right? What's in our four walls. Like, for you to be able to teach your kids that what's in your four walls is what's true.
Yeah.
It's so important, because the world's going to be terrible to them. I mean, what we did to Millie. By the way, Ash and Sammy watched with me yesterday, and Ash goes, "Diet pills? Why?" And I said, "Well, because when you went in the other room, you missed the point. Like they were saying."
Wait, so Ashley knows who I am?
She sure does. Oh my God. And I go, essentially what they're saying, and like obviously it's ridiculous, but like this character is telling this character like, "Oh, I'm the model and you're the plus size model," and she goes, "No!" Like screamed at the top of her lungs, and I was like, "Well, welcome to Tree Hill. This is why everyone had a complex. You're welcome."
Yeah, I know.
Oy, oy, oy.
But I also think that might be the creator's influence as well, not necessarily the writers, because he's thinking, oh, Millie is larger than Alex, so let's insert this line and have this storyline and have this be like, it could be something that is trying to address like trauma and that struggle, but it also could be just someone inserting their own beliefs.
I appreciate that this thing that is so hard, like that makes us all cringe, is not delivered with malice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
On your part, like
Yeah.
it was such a good choice.
Like it
for
was
you to continue that.
Yeah. That's why a lot of like brands and different things have changed kind of the language of how they describe clothing. Now, I feel like it would be a lot easier if we just referred to clothes as numbers, because or something like that. I don't know. I feel like this small, medium, or large like obsession has kind of made it kind of bad, because everyone's like obsessed about the letter they are. Like, I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, most people don't care, but there are those that do and kind of have that bad practice. Like, I don't know.
Stream of consciousness
Yeah.
that
Right.
had no malintent, because you begin to see the
It
way
shows you
people
how
are
much
affected
words really
rather
do
than
matter, and
necessarily
how
the way people are
why being careful is
bullied. And I
important.
like that it wasn't bullying, that it was,
even if you
that it was
don't
It wasn't
agree with
intentionally
it.
being
personal
bullying.
fear.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah. And like inside too, like I'm taking these diet pills because I'm told that I need to be skinny.
Yeah.
And-
Right.
And
Yeah.
she's a rail.
Well, and you see how this toxic system just is
Yeah.
hurting everybody.
And I mean,
And
it's like those that choose to get cosmetic surgery and don't necessarily need cosmetic surgery. I mean, they're always told, hey, get this nose job, get this blah, and then they're like, oh, to their friend, oh, by the way, I just got this lift, I just got this tuck, I did blah, blah, and their friend is like, oh, do I need that? And they're like, and like, it's an endless cycle that is predatory, toxic, and so disgusting. I mean, I don't blame anyone who wants to go in that direction, but at the same time, you kind of have to be careful about who you're talking to about it, because like, I don't know, it just has this like negative effect of kind of like, especially as like someone who might have a bigger following, a bigger influence, like, these actresses or someone with a platform, like being like, oh yeah, I got like, and on one hand, yes, it's being transparent, it's being honest, but at the same time, it's also like you're promoting this to your audience who might be impressionable, who might be young, who might be thinking about it, and now you're reinforcing that it works or that it does, or like, I mean, these things should always be like consulted with like an actual professional, like doctor and stuff, like asking like, oh, what can I expect from this? Like, is this something that I should be looking at? Like, I'm kind of like, it's always difficult to navigate though, because you really don't know how your words are going to affect someone until it does. And you might not even realize that you're being a bully. Like, there's a lot of times where people are like, oh, they're such a bully, they're so mean and everything. But there is that chance that that person wasn't actually trying to be mean and wasn't trying to be a bully, but their words just like came off wrong. Like, I feel like I've had those moments where, I've said something, nothing that I felt was mean, but it had a bad effect on someone, And recognizing that even in those instances, it's always okay to apologize and be like, yeah, I didn't mean like that. Sorry. In a genuine way, not just like a saving face kind of way, but actually kind of saying, yeah, my bad. Like, I didn't realize that was like not okay. And it's always important to be the bigger person, even when you think that you didn't do anything wrong, because obviously it affected the person that you were talking to or the person that you were referring to. And even if it doesn't seem like it's a big deal, it's obviously a big deal to them. So being able to apologize and being able to be like, hey, yo, sorry about this. Now I've had sort of like work relations and school relations where it wasn't like rainbows and sunshine, but at the same time being able to make it kind of work in a way. Like, I feel like everyone thinks going into like high school and everything that everybody hates them, and it's very easy to kind of get into that trap of like, are they talking about me? Like, it kind of feels like it. I mean, there are genuine times where people are being mean and being hurtful. I've definitely also have had that, but I've also had the reflections of like, what if it just wasn't what I thought? Like, I don't know. I wasn't always included in the group, so it was kind of difficult to understand like if people actually wanted to hang out with me. But I also kind of gather that as also how I presented myself in a way, because I know that I was very reserved in like high school and I didn't know how to like make friends. Like, I don't know.
I like that we also got the behind the scenes with her in that beautiful scene with Mouth where she just starts to cry.
Yeah.
I wrote it down. I said, the fact that Millie's crying about her body is so fucking sad to me. They did this to all of us. Like, that's in my notes. But that thing, when she says it, made me feel special.
Well, but also, though, I would just want to say this, too, is like, they did that to us, but also, even in the show, like, I remember one of the scenes moving forward where I have to be in, like, lingerie. It was, I didn't have, like, the flattest stomach. And so there was some words said that made me feel like, oh, we need a higher waisted because this isn't going to look good on camera. And so then my head goes, oh, because I have a stomach. Yeah, I know. Like, I know.
Because you eat like
And
a normal
so,
person.
Like, we're also told in our workplaces too.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the thing. Is
reinforced.
it's relentless, and no matter what you are, you're not the right thing.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're pale, you should be tan. You're tan. Why are you getting sun damage? You're like, whatever it is, it's terrible.
Do we remember my sun damage, by the way? We can't. This is a way later episode, but do you remember Puerto Rico?
What?
Sophia.
Wait, what happened?
Remember, I got burned in my entire face.
Oh, your sunburn.
Yeah, remember the sunburn and like it peeled off of my face.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What happened?
That was the worst.
In Puerto Rico, when they had
that,
like the wedding or whatever it was, the
so crazy,
thing.
The thing that I thought was so beautiful that I felt like they gave to Millie, but was so true for the rest of us, was like, I have felt competent and smart and capable and reliable, but never special. And I feel like women feeling special in that era,
was
the
rare.
people in power always perceived as dangerous. And I love that now, whether it's the way body positivity has changed, or like even, you see Simone and Jordan like bowing down to the Brazilian gymnast. Like all the girlies, we're all here together in
supporting
a new way.
each other.
And I don't know, I love it. And I love...
I think it's definitely a
we
more
get to sort of
positive
be here
environment
in
than what it
that era for
was.
each other, too.
That is good.
Agreed.
And that Mouth was there for Millie in that moment.
People always
Put her little
like,
shoe on.
isn't it bad to be like overly positive? Like, shouldn't you at least tell someone? Like, I guarantee if someone has a problem, they already know it, and they either want to choose to fix it or they just don't care. I feel like it's none of your business if someone wants to or doesn't want to change something about themselves, and you should just assume that they already know and that your words are not going to help them, because I feel like so many people are just looking to like put someone down or like jab them for like things that are not even really in their control to a degree, and always wanting to be judgmental when you're probably not perfect either. I mean, there's probably things that could technically be fixed about you, but at the same time, no one's perfect. No one's gonna be in your image, and you're not God. You're not someone who's going to make those judgments, and just keep it in your own lane.
Like a Cinderella moment.
Right. Well,
No, people
that
just
mouth
don't
was
know how
not
to be
only there
nice
for
anymore.
Millie, but how he showed up for Nathan too, because it's really easy to be able to jump on the wagon of what media is talking about, and that being his friend, and so it's easy in these day and age to be like, yeah, well, sources say, or because we're close to certain people that we know or whatever. But in this situation where can this show just be about sports, and why does it have to be like just
personal lives,
talking about things that we have no idea, or having an opinion about something we don't know, so.
And when you see the way that running with a lie will legitimize it, like you saw it with the boxer from Algeria, that poor woman, like everybody just ran with this nonsense about her during the Olympics, and it was really interesting watching this episode this week because it felt so timely to have Mouth say, we're not going to do that. We're not going to legitimize a falsehood by reporting on it for clicks, for ratings. Come on. And you kind of wish, the media would do a little more of that, don't you?
Media is just
I'm always
predatory,
like, what is the truth? That's why I'm like, because I've even come to you on certain things and be like, this is what I hear and what I've being told. What is like? I
think
there's
there's a lot of things that have been normalized that shouldn't be.
Like, from like, but there's a
and
fact
it's hard to
from-
break
there's
that
facts
shell
from
because
two different
everyone
sides. I
is
just want to
used
know
to
the one
doing
fact.
Yeah. What's the actual fact, not the alternative fact?
Yeah, like what is just actually the fact, and that's where I'm like, that's where I feel like it's hard to live in this day and age because there are facts.
There's so many
from
rumors and
from so many
things that
places,
are like,
and I just would like to know the one.
Yeah. Well, and then it gets really juicy, right? Because Dan, you start to realize what's his angle here, and the fact that Rachel has to come in to try to convince Renee, it's so well done because I remember, again, not trying to spoil it for any first time viewers, but I remember where this goes. And they were so good at weaving these possibilities. Dan saying, I want him to be better than I was. I don't want it to take him 16 years to claim his other child. I did exactly this. He's my son. And then Rachel sitting down and being like, give me a break. Nathan blew him off. And he's here to bury him and help you. And you're just like, what is happening? Who's telling the truth?
I mean, this is why I get why the show works. It's juicy, and I'm like, I want to go back now that I've watched a few.
I can keep mentioning. I think Alex is coming back.
Good. Keep watching, and then you can bop in here and hang with us.
Please
more
do.
and more.
Please do. Oh my God,
selfishly,
please
I'm
do.
so glad that I got you all to myself.
I hope she
this
comes
week,
for 713.
and
I think it would
know
be a really
Robin's
important
been
episode
so
to talk
bummed
about
to not
Alex's
be here.
perspective
so you'll
on
have
it.
to come back and get to hang.
Yeah,
If you guys don't know what happened in 713, just wait.
When you guys want me
you'll
back,
realize
it's always fun
what it is.
to rewatch it and drag Alan to watch it with me.
I can't wait. I do have, we got this question perhaps more than any other question.
Okay.
When we told the fans that you were coming, everyone wants to know what you think Alex Dupre is up to now.
Oh my goodness. I love that question. And
I mean, she
why I wanna
was.
do a
She
show.
did leave the.
I think she's still trying to find her way, but like in the best way
she
possible.
did leave
Like,
doing
I don't
music.
think she's lost, but I think she's just kind of like on
She's
her.
probably
eat,
an
pray,
influencer.
love right
She's
now.
probably like a YouTuber, like Instagram influencer.
Figuring it out.
That
And
makes
I know
I
that
would
she's
watch
gonna
her.
have like the happy, but I think she's still like she's kind of still figuring
I
it
would
out.
watch that.
I don't think she's a mom yet.
Okay.
That's
Do
what I
you
think.
is Alex
Do you
like,
think Alex
like
is in
Jana in real life? Is she a multi-hyphenate? Is she also making music? Is she? Okay.
Yes, she's doing all the things. She's doing music. She's doing movies. She's going through men. She's
She's-
she's
and
doing,
women?
She's doing it all.
I love it.
But she's gonna slow down soon. But first, she has to have a show about all the things.
Well, yeah, we need to see her have some wild times, I think.
Yeah.
Keeping up with Alex
that feels
Dupre.
fun.
But she's not into like she's not in the gutter. She's still sober. She's still doing lime, like, you know, the lime shots
Yeah.
with water, you know, and just, the, you know, she's still trying to tie cherry ties. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's her thing.
Yeah.
She's
She
still
hasn't-
lively.
Yeah, she's still fun, but
Still a
she's,
party
she's
girl.
responsible.
Yeah.
Ish.
She parties responsibly.
Date-ish.
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 Always an ish with her.
Ish?
Yeah.
What an absolute delight you are. Thank you so much for coming. Friends, we will see you next week for season 7, episode 7, I and Love and You.
All right, girl, you're the best.
Okay.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate
Their
you.
lips are so off sync. Okay, that was fun. I like doing this. I think I'll do more of this. Maybe not every episode, but honestly, like, why not do it every episode? Let's see what the comments. Oh. Yeah, I don't know why it's so late. I don't know. But yeah, okay. There you go. There's that. That is why it took so long. They only posted today. Usually they do it like every Monday. I don't know why it took so long. I think the next episode is already out, but I'm trying to be good and not listen to it. I want to be able to actually like watch it and comment on it. But maybe I should just do like the audio. I mean, I guess I could do that because it is a podcast, and I don't really need to see their faces. But I don't know. I don't know if it really matters too much. I don't know, but I kind of like having that video there, just to be able to see their faces and everything. Also, I don't have to worry about skipping the stupid Spotify ads and stuff like that. So it does make it a lot easier for me. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like if you enjoyed this, subscribe for more, and comment down below. Maybe I'll do a video on like what I think One Tree Hill sequel should look like, or like who should come back and stuff like that. I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, peace out. It's been a blast. Bye.